Bacteria are one of the simplest forms of life, and they appeared on Earth long before other forms of life. It is estimated that bacteria have been present for about 3.4 billion years, and they're found almost everywhere on Earth. If we take all living organisms, we can split them into two major types: eukaryotes and prokaryotes. This diagram illustrates some of the differences and similarities between eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. A eukaryotic cell has a nucleus, which is enclosed by a membrane, whereas a prokaryotic cell has its genetic material right in the cytoplasm, and it is not enclosed by a membrane. Eukaryotic cells contain mitochondria, but we can see that the prokaryotic cell does not have any of these organelles in its cytoplasm. Prokaryotic cells have a cell wall, but so do many eukaryotic cells, such as plants. Some prokaryotic cells have a hard outer coating called the capsule. We see that both eukaryotes and prokaryotes have ribosomes in their cells. These are needed by both types of organisms to produce proteins. And we see that the cells of both eukaryotes and prokaryotes have a cell membrane. This is crucial for all cells, as it is needed to contain all of the cell's parts. So we can summarize what we looked at here. The cells of eukaryotes contain organelles such as mitochondria, but they also have a Golgi body, lysosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, and in the case of plants, chloroplasts. In eukaryotes, genetic material of the cell is in a nucleus, which is surrounded by a nuclear membrane. The cells of prokaryotes contain no mitochondria, Golgi body, lysosomes, endoplasmic reticula, or chloroplasts. They are much more primitive than eukaryotes. The genetic material in a prokaryotic cell is simply floating around in the cytoplasm. It is not contained in a nucleus. Eukaryotes include all life forms except bacteria and some species of blue-green algae. So animals and plants are all eukaryotes. We'll make a note of that here, that eukaryotes include all life forms except bacteria and some species of blue-green algae. Prokaryotes include bacteria and some species of blue-green algae. We'll make a note of that here. Let's take a closer look at a bacterium. This diagram represents one type of bacterium. We'll look at some of the important structures and organelles. Bacteria are surrounded by an outer coating called a capsule. This protects the bacterium. It is actually a factor in disease because it protects bacteria from being attacked by our immune system. Right inside the capsule is the cell wall, shown in yellow in this diagram. This helps keep the cell together and offers more protection. The cell membrane is the next layer, shown in green on this diagram. The cell membrane helps control what enters or leaves the bacterial cell. Like all living cells, bacterial cells contain ribosomes. These are the organelles which manufacture proteins. All the ribosomes in bacteria are free-floating in the cytoplasm. Bacterial cells do not have endoplasmic reticula. This is called a plasmid. Plasmids are strands of DNA which are separate from the main bacterial DNA, which is in the center. They provide a blueprint for the cell to produce certain types of proteins. These are pili. They are hair-like appendages found on the outside of many bacteria. Some viruses can attach to these and infect bacterial cells. Some of these are also used to connect to other bacteria and exchange genetic material. The cytoplasm is the gel-like liquid that fills the interior of the bacterial cell. Many organelles float around in the cytoplasm. This is the main piece of bacterial genetic material, or DNA. It is not contained in a membrane-bound nucleus, like DNA in eukaryotic cells. This DNA in a bacterium is often called a nucleoid because it is not a true nucleus. This tail-like appendage is called the flagellum. It whips back and forth and helps the bacteria move around. Some bacteria, like this one, have one flagellum, while others have more than one. Bacteria can be classified as having three main shapes. Cocci are spherical or egg-shaped bacteria. Bacilli are rod-shaped bacteria. And Spirilla are spiral-shaped bacteria. Many bacteria are beneficial to us. Let's look at a few of them. Lactobacillus acidophilus is naturally present in the human digestive system. It is added to some yogurts as a probiotic, which helps us digest milk products. Lactococcus lactis is used in making cheese and buttermilk. It helps turn a sugar in milk called lactose into lactic acid. Escherichia coli is naturally present in the large intestine of humans and other warm-blooded species. It produces some B vitamins and vitamin K needed for blood clotting. There are many strains of E. coli bacteria. Most are harmless, but there are some strains that can cause disease. Bacteria that are harmful and can cause disease are said to be pathogenic. The word pathogenic simply means able to cause disease. Helicobacter pylori is found in the stomach of some people. In some cases, it can cause stomach ulcers. Escherichia coli 157H7 is a strain of E. coli that can cause severe diarrhea and in some cases kidney failure. It can be contacted by eating contaminated raw green leaf vegetables or uncooked meat. Although contamination is rare, it occasionally occurs and leads to recalls of certain food products. Salmonella enterica is contacted by eating food from infected cattle or poultry. It can sometimes be found in raw eggs. It can cause a type of food poisoning called salmonella. Clostridium botulinum causes botulism, which is contacted by eating improperly prepared home canned foods that are low in acid. It can also occur from infected wounds. Botulism can be fatal if not treated very quickly. Borrelia burgdorferi causes Lyme disease. It is contacted mainly through tick bites. If bitten by a tick, seek medical attention immediately. Untreated Lyme disease is very serious. We've looked at only a few bacteria here. Scientists have identified thousands of species of bacteria, but it has been estimated there are millions of bacterial species on Earth. In fact, it is thought that the total mass of all the bacteria on Earth is greater than the total mass of all of the plants and animals put together. It is interesting to note that the number of bacterial cells living in our body is about 10 times the number of our cells.